Hey guys, it's Monday, January 23rd, and this is Newswave. So we had an episode a couple weeks back or so where we talked about Axanar and how they were going to court with the producers of Star Trek, or the owners of Star Trek and everything, and they ended up running into some problems because a lot of their stuff was not covered by fair use. It could be seen as copyright infringement completely, and they have decided to settle on the whole lawsuit with the producers and owners of Star Trek. So if you didn't know, the people who basically own the copyright and everything for Star Trek's Paramount and CBS, and they've come to the conclusion that you can still make fan films, but there are some guidelines you have to basically be covered by, and now Axanar is going to have to follow those if they wish to continue production and develop and create this film that people want to watch. So basically what their guidelines are: you cannot use any of their costumes, official costumes or anything, which makes sense. You can't use any of the names, can't use the scenes from Star Trek. Again, all this makes sense to me. But you also really can't have it, you can't have the video more than 15 minutes long unless it's like a digital feature, like a movie type thing you release. And you can't make any money from it. It has to be non-profit. If you make money, there's a problem. So Axanar at this point is going to have to follow all of those guidelines, all of those regulations. They're not going to make any money on it, obviously, because at this point, they're probably just going to make it as fan service and then move on. I do know there's a lot of fans, obviously, of Star Trek that like to make these videos. I think Paramount and CBS understand that, at least somewhat, so they're trying to at least meet halfway here with that. But at least they didn't state any monetary settlement, which I'm hoping means that they're not trying to take any money from these people who are trying to make something around their product that was more along the lines of, fan service, not them trying to steal money from Paramount and CBS, just trying to make something about a show that they like. So you like retro news? Because I really do. I love it when people take systems that are so outdated now that nobody even looks at them other than obviously the purists and the hobbyists. And no doubt, this is one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. So somebody has taken Minecraft and ported it essentially to the Dreamcast. You can now play Minecraft on your Dreamcast if you'd like over at DC Emulation. A forum member by the name of Game Blah Blah has taken the port that was created originally for like a high-end TI calculator. They made that for Minecraft, and they decided to take it. They ported it essentially with some programming and everything, burned it to a disk with Alcohol 120, popped it in Dreamcast, and there you go, Minecraft. I know it looks kind of rough around the edges. It's not the most graphically intense version of Minecraft, but you know what? Somebody got it on the Dreamcast. Do I have to say much else than that? That it's playable, you can build stuff, you can put bricks down, you can chop trees. It's awesome to see people do stuff like this just because of systems that they love or just because they want to do it. It's just neat. You know what? If you want to check out the full video, check out the link in the description. I'll paste it there. You can kind of watch people run around on the Dreamcast in Minecraft. If you missed it over the weekend, NetherRealms has now said that they are accepting registrations for the online beta for Injustice 2. So if you really wanted to get into Injustice 2's beta, or if you just heard about it, you want to head over there, get signed up. We don't know much about it. All we know is that they are going to pretty much limit it to North America at this point, but it could be a fun way to get in early with Injustice 2, try it out. If it's a beta, that means they're looking for things like bugs or stability tests on the server, so you'll be kind of testing it for them, but you'll get a free trial basically at Injustice 2 to try it out. Of course, this is coming ahead of the release. That will be May 16th on the Xbox One and PS4. I'm not sure if they're doing a PC release. Maybe. I assume in the future they will, but right now we just have a date currently for the Xbox One and the PS4. Speaking of fighting games, just so you guys know, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is coming to the PC and the Xbox One March 7th. It's already come to the PS4, of course. It was like a timed exclusive kind of thing, but if you did want to play it on your Xbox One and your PS4 or your PC, you can now pick it up on the Xbox One and the PC March 7th. And if you missed it over the weekend, the Switch pre-orders started in Japan, much like they said they would, on the 21st. And believe it or not, I'm sure you're not shocked, sold out. Just weird, right? Because the Switch is supposed to be doing terribly. No one's going to buy the Switch. It's sold out on Amazon in apparently 15 minutes. Now, I don't know how they get that number. I don't know if Amazon timed it and then put out that it sold in 15 minutes. Again, Amazon gets an allotted amount, much like everyone else does, that they can sell through, and then once it's gone, of course, it goes to sold out, and they put a little thing on there that says it'll notify you. But all these people are reporting 15 minutes. come on, it can't be that exact. Anyway, it sold out. Now, if you look through Twitter, a lot of people were showing mass amounts of lines of much politer people than where I would be, where around here people get really mad at each other for butting in line and stuff, but these people seem much more polite. Anyway, it looks like the Switch, again, not surprising anyone, is going to do well in Japan. I'm pretty confident it's going to jump right past the PS4 in a year or two's time, not even. This system is made with Japan in mind first and foremost. Japan is a very mobile moving country. They love their mobile devices. They are on cell phones. The DS sold tremendously well there. The 3DS sells really well there. So I don't think it's shocking that the Switch will sell well there as well, especially if Monster Hunter makes it over, which is massive over there, and if Pokemon makes it over, which, again, massive over there. They also get a slight unfair advantage because they can actually customize their Switch online. So any of the Japanese My Nintendo customers can actually go online, and instead of having to pick, like, either a neon set or a gray set, they can actually get, like, all blue. They can get like almost like a gunmetal color, not quite the gray that we were looking at, or they get like all red, and they can just customize the thing completely. And it's kind of jealous about that, to be honest, because I would have liked to have changed up some of the colors on the Switch. However, at this point, I'm just happy to get one. I can't imagine how these people are able to do that and get the pre-order in time, because you'd sit there for a while trying to click back and forth, unless you're allowed to do that after you get your pre-order in to Nintendo or one of your online retailers. Again, I'm not sure how you would do that with how fast it's selling out, but the option appears to be there. And in a very interesting move, Ubisoft has actually acquired Freestyle. Now, Freestyle was a studio that did like Guitar Hero Live, DJ Hero, a lot of those rhythm-based games, and Ubisoft apparently has acquired them to work with some of their AAA studios. So Ubisoft pulled this studio in, obviously struggling. Guitar Hero Live did not do well. I don't think that's a secret. And so they pull them in. They have now renamed them Ubisoft Leamington, and they're going to work closely with Ubisoft Reflections on some of the other AAA games. Ubisoft Reflections worked on games like Driver, The Division, and Watch Dogs. So now you have the studio that made DJ Hero and Guitar Hero Live working with these people. I'm not really sure what they would be doing there. Now, just because you work on rhythm games doesn't mean you can't also work on open world games like these. I'm not saying that at all. It's just odd that you take a team that is very used to doing rhythm-based games with Guitar Hero and stuff, and you bring them over to a game genre that does not do that at all. I don't know if they had specific talents with any kind of like audio-visual or music or something that they wanted to incorporate, but only time will tell. Maybe they will then be used on maybe a new copy of The Division or maybe the next Watch Dogs or something. It's hard to say. Just a very interesting acquisition on Ubisoft's part. So we all know speedrunning is difficult. There's a lot of stuff you need to get used to. You got to practice all these jumps and everything. And I guess the only thing that can really make it harder is if you're blindfolded. Well, a speedrunner took up that challenge. Their handle anyway, is Parisian Player. And they decided, how cool would it be if someone beat Link to the Past blindfolded? So in a gameplay session that I assume they streamed and then recorded, took about 9 hours. Blindfolded, though, they were able to beat Link to the Past, which is insane. So I guess blindfold runs aren't like a new thing, since people have done it for things like Super Mario Bros., the original one, and Ocarina of Time. But Link to the Past is interesting because it's not an easy game in the first place. Like, when you start getting further into the game and you have a lot of pitfalls and stuff, and the bosses get a little harder, it's pretty weird to think that someone could run through it like that. Now, of course, Ocarina of Time does have 3D space and everything, so that can get a little confusing as well, but there's a lot of glitches to get you through that game fast. This person actually beat every boss, ran through, got all the glitches apparently, and they did it all blindfolded. Now, it took them, like I said, about 9 hours, and the way that it works, the way they can at least see themselves around, is they actually use their sword and bombs and stuff as like echolocation, so they'll run around tapping the walls to figure out where they are, and that's crazy to think about. They also, of course, use musical cues, like obviously the music changes when you go into like the forest and dungeons, stuff like that, so they at least can kind of get an idea where they are when they walk into a dungeon, and if they can remember what the dungeon looks like in their head or how the map looks, they can find themselves around. The funny thing is, he was giving himself 12 hours to do it, and he ends up beating it 3 hours sooner in a total of 9 hours, which is, beating that game that quick is awesome, but blindfolded, you're just going to make some other people look really bad. And the last bit of news today, guys, is the #1 selling game of 2016 has now been announced officially. And despite all the bad press, all the negative feedback, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare still tops 2016 as the best-selling game, which pretty much lends the credence to the vocal minority is always the loudest. It seems the same with the Switch. It'll sell out. It'll probably sell well all year despite people being super critical of the thing. Final Fantasy 15 goes on to sell millions despite people being critical of it. Infinite Warfare, #1 selling game of 2016, despite people saying it's terrible and they don't like how the direction that Call of Duty is going in. So what do you think they're going to do? They'll probably continue in that direction for at least the Infinite Warfare type series with that creator. We're not sure about next year yet where they're going to go with that. A lot of people are speculating that it will be going into the past because if all three companies keep going into the future, they're going to start looking more and more alike. I understand why you would want to at least make yourself a little different, give fans what they want in terms of the going into the past, but also keep, again, what maybe some of the people like for the future. This also just shows us, guys, that Call of Duty is probably never going away. It will always sell well. It's the Madden of shooters, and it'll be around every year. That's it for Newswave, guys. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And definitely check out the channel going forward because I'm going to have more and more videos coming up. And make sure you are definitely subscribed so you do see the Switch teardown. I'm getting really excited about it. You'll also see, hopefully, my vlog going to the Switch event. Hopefully they let me film a lot in there. We'll see. And definitely check all that out, guys. And I will see you next time.